I'm Bia,
I'm Katie.
live from New England. It's
It's
Twilight
Twilight tonight.
tonight. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow. It's been a while since I've sang that and not Bow Chicka Wow. I'm like a little like blown away actually.
Bow, chicka, bow, bow. I can't believe we made it to the Cullens already.
I know. Like when I went to open up the book, it's so much further than I thought we were. Like we're almost
Well,
done with the book.
and I always forget that the baseball scene is the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like it happens all so fast, but
Yeah,
also, well, because it does.
it does. And like oh my God. I have a lot to say. I'll get into it. I'll get into it. I won't even say it now because what's the point now?
All right. Got my water. I've got my headphones. I've got my chapstick.
But I'm using this fancy Glossier espressobomb.com. Makes the lips a little brown. It smells so good. I'll show you
Oh,
this
so
real quick
good.
before we start. This is well,
Hot
speaks for
dog
itself.
Hot Wheels?
Hot Dog Hot Wheels.
Pia, that's a really good one.
It's a really good one. The most organized Hot Wheels box I have ever seen in my life.
That's
An angel
crazy.
came down from the heavens and organized the Hot Wheels box. And if you zoom in, you
What?
can see fast foodie near the bottom. And that is how I found Hot Dog Hot Wheels.
Wow. That is really awesome. Um, that's incredible, and I'm so glad you found hot dog Hot Wheels again, once
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
So this chapstick I think went through the wash and it was like
Oh,
that's so funny.
yeah,
Sorry, I went to
just
put it on and I
digging.
was like, oh, it's just a hole. Cool.
I also
All
have
right.
to say, your hair looks amazing. You look like you're in
So
a commercial or something.
I actually haven't brushed it yet today, but 2 days ago I blew it. No, I didn't blow it out, but I have one of those. Charlie got me one of those hair stylers, like with the air, with the shark. It's
Oh,
not the Dyson, it's the
okay.
Shark one. But
Oh,
it's great. I like
still.
it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I curled it and then I hairsprayed it all. And then yeah, so it just really gives me some bounce.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah,
get
I
my
love
hair
it.
cut soon so I can have low-key bangs. I'm trying to get bangs,
Mm.
maybe. We're gonna see.
Like some
Like
long
some
ones.
curtain, some
So
something,
cute. I
and
see
then
it.
more layers so that I can have beautiful hair shampoo commercial hair. That's what I was trying to
Yes.
say.
Yes.
Um,
I need
but
to
yeah,
find I need to find a hairstylist near me.
yeah, it's
I
kind
want to
of
have
hard. I have
hair like
one, but
what's her
like
name?
who?
Uh
I don't
the
know.
the girl sorry, the girl from the ping pong movie.
Marty Supreme?
Yes,
I haven't
the
seen
girl
it
with the
yet.
curly hair. Oh crap, what is her freaking name? She's in I Love LA too. Um
Oh, not Rachel Sennett,
no, 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 no.
but oh. Oh, Odessa
Yes.
Zion or
Yes.
whatever. She has a
Yes.
crazy name, but
Odessa Zion. That is why I can never remember her name, but she
she has
has
gorgeous
this,
hair.
oh my God. And it's just like it's so curly and it's so similar to my curl pattern that I'm just like, that's it.
Oh,
That's
yeah. And she's
that's what
got
I want.
it's a little bigger.
It's
Yeah.
big. Like and I saw it, there's this one specific look that she had. How do I send a picture immediately? Anyway, anyway, everyone asked her, "Is it a wig?" And she was like, "No, I spent all day doing my hair." And I was like,
Damn right.
"Give it to me."
Give it to me.
But the Cullens.
This was low-key a shorter chapter than I thought.
It was. It was
It was just kind
shorter.
of like a little intro. It was just a little introduction.
And exactly, because it seems like there's going to be more. The next chapter,
Yeah.
they're getting into questions about it all. So, I mean, we'll do. Oh my gosh, our little intro and our little check-in.
I know we're getting ahead.
Um, hey everyone, welcome
Hey,
back. Welcome
it's been a long
back.
time.
Oh my gosh, it has been like longer than
So,
ever before.
maybe I don't
No,
know. There was a big
probably
break
not.
there at one point, but we're happy to be back. We're
We're
very
so happy to be
excited.
back, and I'm so
The
excited. Yes.
the sun is shining outside. It's a beautiful day. We're up. I'm talking to my lovely Bia,
Oh, my
and
Katie.
I'm excited to break down this chapter
I'm so
because
excited.
I don't know, it's fun. It's also, in my opinion, very different from what we get in the books.
In the
Not the
movies,
like
you
obviously
mean?
or in the movies, thank you.
Yes.
Um yeah, there's a lot of
Yes.
big differences that I'm honestly interested by, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yes, me too.
Sophia, what happened last chapter? Do you have a
Uh,
little synopsis for
Good
us?
question. Good question. Last
Sorry to put you on the
chapter.
spot.
No,
Okay.
no, no. Last chapter was Mind Over Matter. They talked about, music. Edward ended up coming, or I think this was already when he was in her room
Hmm.
and he spent the night. Um, she was being all like, "Oh, Charlie, I'm going to bed really early," and he thought that
Yeah.
she was gonna sneak out. So we find out this chapter how he kept her, how he made sure that she wouldn't sneak out. Um, and yeah, they just talked all night, and they said, "I love you." I mean, or
Yeah.
like they talked about being in love. So that was crazy.
It was a good chapter. Bella learned a lot about his family too. She learned about like Alice and
Yes.
Jasper. She learned about Carlisle. Um,
We heard the lullaby for the first time.
yeah. So it's a good one.
Yeah.
And now we get into the Cullens.
Yes. Page 312, chapter 15, The Cullens.
The Cullens.
The muted light of yet another cloudy day eventually woke me. I lay with my arm across my eyes, groggy and dazed. Something, a dream trying to be remembered, struggled to break into my consciousness. So she's thinking that the night before was just a dream. There's no way that that actually happened. I moaned and rolled on my side, hoping more sleep would come. And then the previous day flooded back into my awareness.
Oh, I sat up so fast it made my head spin.
Your hair looks like a haystack, but I like it. His unruffled voice came from the rocking chair in the corner, which is
The
such a
cuck
funny
chair.
feeling.
Why is he sitting in the cuck chair watching her? Like you couldn't be just like cuddling like a little bit. You couldn't be big spooning her. No, sorry. That's like too much for Mormon Stephenie. Oh my God. Yeah, that was crazy. I underlined that. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? You
Oh my
weirdo.
god. Oh my god.
So Bella
Clip
goes,
that.
Bella goes, Edward, you stayed. She thoughtlessly threw herself across the room and into his lap. In the instant that my thoughts caught up with my actions, I froze, shocked by my own uncontrolled enthusiasm. I stared up at him, afraid that I had crossed the wrong line. But he laughed. This is so cute to me because I just feel like we did not get this kind of stuff in the movies. Why couldn't we get a cute little clip of her running and happily sitting on his lap? It would have made me, I don't know, that's like what you expect from a little high school relationship is them like kind
Yeah.
of being all over each other. And I feel like we didn't always get that in the movies.
Yeah. I agree. It's you get so much more of their relationship. In the movies it really is just like they talk, she's scared, and then they have like one really intense kiss and then it's like that's it. We didn't get any of this.
No.
I would have taken like maybe just 5 minutes. 5 minutes of the
No, there was a
movie.
couple like flirty, cute parts in this chapter where I was
Yeah.
like, "Aw, I wish we would have gotten that."
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So he laughs and says, "Of course." He answered, startled, but seeming pleased by my reaction. His hands rubbed my back. I laid my head cautiously against his shoulder, breathing in the smell of his skin.
I was sure it was a dream.
You're not that creative, he scoffed.
Charlie, I remembered, thoughtlessly jumping up again and heading to the door.
He left an hour ago, after reattaching your battery cables, I might add. I have to admit, I was disappointed. Is that really all it would take to stop you if you were determined to go?
I couldn't remember what the fuck this was about.
So
Can you?
yeah, Charlie, he was scared that she was gonna sneak out. He was sure that she was gonna sneak
Oh
out, and
yeah.
so he detached her battery cables from her car because then you would have heard her big truck go boom, 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 boom. He would have known.
Kind of iconic of him, I'm not gonna lie. That's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. To have a dad that cares that's my problem seeping in, but like, oh, that's so sweet. It's like crazy and like kind of crazy of him. But like, oh,
He just wants her home. He just wants to know
he
where
just
she's
wants her
going.
safe.
Yeah.
You know? He's like he cares about her. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I deliberated where I stood, wanting to return to him badly, but afraid I might have morning breath.
You're not usually this confused in the morning, he noted. He held his arms open for me to return. Oh, a nearly irresistible invitation.
I need another human minute, I admitted.
I'll wait.
I skipped to the bathroom, my emotions unrecognizable. I didn't know myself, inside or out. The face in the mirror was practically a stranger. Eyes too bright, hectic spots of red across my cheekbones. After I brushed my teeth, I worked to straighten out the tangled chaos that was my hair. I splashed my face with cold water and tried to breathe normally, with no noticeable success. I half ran back to my room.
Uh, the description, like spots of red across my cheekbones, she's saying she's blushing?
I think so. And
What
then her
if.
being like a little breathless. I think she's just like
Yeah.
flustered
She's just
and
flushed, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like a miracle that he was there, his arms still waiting for me. He reached out to me and my heart thumped unsteadily. Like, I don't know, this imagery of him just being like, come here, Bella. Like, I don't know, that's so cute. And we didn't, I don't know. I really wish we would have gotten just even like a little clip in a montage of that happening.
Right?
I feel like something. I know Twilight wasn't like a montage movie,
No, but there
but
was.
some kind of I don't know, more physical flirtiness, I think would have been nice. Or just flirtiness in general. They kind of just like dove right into it without the flirtiness.
Yes. And there is something that a little later in this chapter we get a clip of in the movie, but there's like no context to it. And I'll put a pin in that.
Okay.
Welcome back, he murmured, taking me into his arms. He rocked me for a while in silence until I noticed that his clothes were changed, his hair smooth.
You left? I accused, touching the collar of his fresh shirt.
I could hardly leave in the clothes I came in. What would the neighbors think?
Bella pouts.
You were very deeply asleep. I didn't miss anything. His eyes gleamed. The talking came earlier.
What did you hear?
His gold eyes grew very soft. You said you loved me.
You knew that already, I reminded him, ducking my head.
Okay. It was nice to hear, just the same.
I hid my face against his shoulder. I love you, I whispered.
Okay, and this is what this. I guess she's just like not freaking out because now she just feels just like, oh, we
She's
said it, like
comfortable.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
comfortable. Because before in the previous chapter, we were like, hello, what? You guys
Whoa,
said
whoa, whoa, whoa,
love.
what? Yeah, they're
Where's
like so weird. They're so intense about some things, and I feel like too casual about others.
I agree. And okay, she whispers I love you and he says, "You are my life now." He answered simply. That
That
was
doesn't feel
exactly. Mhm.
simple.
Mhm.
That doesn't
Mhm.
feel simple, my dear.
That was my exact facial expression of just, "Huh?"
Like, okay, that's like I feel like I'm with some of these moments I have such a complicated reaction because my initial one is like kind of like oh like I'm in the book, I'm reading, I'm in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
book,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm enjoying it, whatever. I'm like, oh damn, that's beautiful. Like that, oh, you're my life now. Like, romance,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I take one step, just a single half step back, and I'm like, whoa, okay. They barely know each other.
Yes.
They have been dating for 3 months, kind of. He didn't talk to her for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then I look back and I'm like, okay, maybe it's just like an intense high school relationship. But I don't know. Like,
I
even back
think
then,
this
I was like,
yeah.
I feel like I understood that there was some kind of like in like a high school relationship, it's more fleeting and like I don't know, less. I don't know. This is just a lot. It's just a lot.
It's a lot. It's intense. I feel like even in the intense relationships that I had in high school, if somebody said that I was their life, this I don't know, but also like I was like what 15 like like it's a completely that was my brain doesn't even work like that anymore that it's just I couldn't even fathom, but yeah, this is it.
But if Edward, the most beautiful man ever, was like sweeping you up and doing everything and driving the car and saving your life like 2 times, like
Yeah.
there's a lot because that's one thing. Like he's literally saved her life in the car crash and then saved her from creepy guys.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like trauma. I don't want to say like trauma bonded because that's like a term, but like
Yeah.
there's a lot wrapped up in her love and like obsession with him, and obviously for him as well.
Yeah.
He smells delicious.
He's made to attract her and that's uh,
When you
and
put
then
it
I'm
like
back in.
that,
I'm gonna go back in. And for that reason, I'm out.
It's like I'm like, oh my god, no, it's too much. Oh my god, but he's a mythical vampire, like amazing guy, and he's really good at kissing, I guess.
the fact that you just said he's made to attract her kind of took that's crazy. But yeah, that is he literally is made to like lure in his unknowing victims.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Whew. There was nothing more to say for the moment. He rocked us back and forth as the room grew lighter, which, just really quick, I think is a weird visual because in the last chapter we did a lot of like she's drinking milk,
Not the milk, I forgot.
she's drinking milk, she's a little baby girl, and now he's rocking her, and it's like there's a lot of baby visual that I don't particular, and maybe that's me in the
No, I don't think you're wrong for being like, interesting, but I feel like it's also,
oh, he's in the rocking chair, so I guess yeah.
oh, that makes it even worse. But I feel like it's like the emphasis on the smallness,
Mhm.
like the her curling up on his shoulder, and no, I know there's definitely some weird vibes, but I feel like it's all about the like comparison of him being like this big strong
Yeah, yeah,
monster
yeah, yeah.
vampire and her being this like small weak fragile human.
Yeah.
So I don't know, so weird.
Yeah. Breakfast time. He said eventually, casually, to prove, I'm sure, that he remembered all my human frailties. Frailties.
So I clutched my throat with both hands and stared at him with wide eyes. Shock crossed his face. Kidding, I snickered. And you said I couldn't act. Like, come on. Them being funny and flirty.
Exactly.
I needed this. I needed more of
Yes.
this.
Yes. Yeah. This would have been a really good scene to add. He frowns in disgust. That wasn't funny.
It was very funny, and you know it. But I examined his gold eyes carefully to make sure that I was forgiven. Apparently, I was.
Shall I rephrase? Breakfast time for the human.
Oh, okay. He threw me over his stone shoulder, gently, but with a swiftness that left me breathless. I protested as he carried me easily down the stairs, but he ignored me. He sat me right side up on a chair. The kitchen was bright, happy, seeming to absorb my mood. More imagery of like a toddler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's
Like
a
it might as
lot.
well just be putting her in a high chair. Like it
No, I
and
agree.
it's the post Epstein America. Cut that out.
Yeah, sure. This was
uh
written in 2005?
no, but like you see it through a different lens. It's
I mean, absolutely. Again, I like to think it's more just
it
like
is. Like
the but
if you think about it in like a Court of Thorn and Roses, there are like, there's like they're like half animal guys almost, and they're like big and enormous. And like if they're throwing her over the
yeah.
shoulder, that it's just like I think for me, it's he looks so human that I'm like, this should be more balanced, but he is like I need to just keep remembering like he is a mythical creature. Like it's just easier for him to pick her up and put her down than to wait for her to stumble down the stairs and it like
Well, in the last chapter, he literally like they were talking about like having sex, and he was
mhm.
literally like, I can't because it's already like I have to think about my every move. Like if I try to caress your face, I could accidentally crush your skull or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. It's crazy, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I like how Stephenie balances the like virginity, the sanctity of virginity without explicitly saying it, essentially.
Mhm.
Like she has a little bit, but I don't know. She's found a good way to dance around it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The kitchen was bright,
Oh,
happy,
yes.
seeming to absorb my mood.
What's for breakfast? I asked pleasantly.
That threw him for a minute. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What would you like? His marble brow puckered.
I grinned, hopping up. That's all right. I fend for myself pretty well. Watch me hunt. I found a bowl and a box of cereal. I could feel his eyes on me as I poured the milk and grabbed a spoon. I sat my food on the table and then paused. Can I get you anything? I asked, not wanting to be rude.
That is so funny. Literally 30 seconds of this in the movie, please. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying that, but like
I know that's like our refrain of this episode. But it's true.
Oh my god. It's so funny. Watch me hunt. Okay.
Watch me hunt.
He rolled his eyes. Just eat, Bella. I sat at the table, watching him as I took a bite. He was gazing at me, studying my every movement. It made me self conscious. I cleared my mouth to speak, to distract him.
What's on the agenda for today?
Hmm. I watched him frame his answer carefully. What would you say to meeting my family?
Bella gulps.
Are you afraid now? He sounded hopeful.
Yes, I admitted. How could I deny it? He could see my eyes.
Don't worry. He smirked. I'll protect you.
I'm not afraid of them, I explained. I'm afraid they won't like me. Won't they be, well, surprised that you would bring someone like me home to meet them? Do they know that I know about them?
Oh, they already know everything. They'd taken bets yesterday. He smiled, but his voice was harsh. On whether I'd bring you back. Though why anyone would bet against Alice, I can't imagine. At any rate, we don't have secrets in the family. It's not really feasible. What with my mind reading and Alice seeing the future and all that.
And Jasper making you feel all warm and fuzzy about spilling your guts. Don't forget that.
Which I think this is so interesting. Like you really never think about it and then you hear this and you're like, "Well, yeah, duh, that all makes sense." For some reason with her like responding that way, it felt like it was just Stephenie's way of being like, by the way, here are all the powers that we've listed, like the ones that we talked about last chapter.
Oh,
Here we go.
like a reminder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that. I get
But
what you mean. I also feel like it was like an interesting, like, I don't know, the Edward's next line. He says,
you paid attention. He smiled approvingly.
and Bella says, I've been known to do that every now and then. So did Alice see me coming? But before we move on, sorry,
Mm.
I feel like this interaction here where she's like reminding him of something that she remembers about the conversation they've had, like it's like a again, it's like a flirty thing that they would do that you would do in like a relationship of like, oh, you're getting to know each other. You want to let the person know that you're listening, that you remember the things that
Yes.
you've talked about. But it's just so funny in this context of like, oh yeah, and your brother, the one that can do this crazy thing. And then Edward's like, oh my God, you paid attention. Like, I don't know. It just
We
feels so crazy when you think about it in that because it could be like, oh yeah, and then your brother who plays lacrosse. But instead it's, oh yeah,
yes.
your brother who makes you feel all warm and fuzzy about spilling your guts. Like, I don't know. It's just so
Katie, that is so
everything's been
funny.
everything's been put in the context of like monsters and vampires, and
Yeah.
it's just so funny.
Oh
It's just
my
so funny.
God, that is so funny.
Because they're just flirting, but like okay, so did Alice see me coming?
His reaction was strange. Something like that, he said uncomfortably, turning away so I couldn't see his eyes. I stared at him curiously. Is that any good? He asked, turning back to me abruptly and eyeing my breakfast with a teasing look on his face. Honestly, it doesn't look very appetizing.
There we go.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. That was with your full chest. I like that.
Yeah, I'm an alto. All right, where were we?
Well, he's
Oh,
looking at her
okay.
breakfast and he's like, "Ugh, honestly, that looks
Cereal.
fucking disgusting."
Bella goes, well, it's no irritable grizzly, I murmured. Like, okay, again,
So funny.
the flirting, talking about fucking chomping down a grizzly bear. Okay. Okay, I murmured, ignoring him when he glowered. I was still wondering why he responded that way when I mentioned Alice. I hurried through my cereal, speculating.
He stood in the middle of the kitchen, the statue of Adonis again, staring abstractedly out the back windows.
Then his eyes were back on me, and he smiled his heartbreaking smile.
And you should introduce me to your father, too, I think.
He already knows you.
As your boyfriend, I mean.
Why?
Isn't that customary? He asked innocently.
I don't know, I admitted. My dating history gave me few reference points to work with. Not that any normal rules of dating applied here. That's not necessary, you know. I don't expect you to, I mean, you don't have to pretend for me.
His smile was patient. I'm not pretending.
I pushed the remains of my cereal around the edges of the bowl, biting my lip.
Such a visual that like I can visualize Kristen Stewart doing, and everyone gave her shit for her acting. I think she did such a great job of portraying this Bella.
She wasn't given much to work with. I'm sorry, Bella's
Mm,
just boring.
she's
We're gonna get
yeah.
to the outfit. Okay, anyway, we're
Oh
gonna
my
get.
god.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay.
Are you gonna tell Charlie I'm your boyfriend or not? He demanded.
Is that what you are? I suppress my internal cringing at the thought of Edward and Charlie and the word boyfriend all in the same room at the same time.
It's a loose interpretation of the word boy, I'll admit.
Yeah, I'm old as fuck. I was under the impression that you were something more, actually. More than boyfriend?
Like
Or more
this
than
is
boy? More than boyfriend?
Oh, I took it as more than boyfriend, and I think
Yeah.
and this is when I was like, okay, like the movies got it right that like they moved too fast. I would have understood like a little bit. I think she's saying like they're like soulmates or something, or like they're like bonded
Oh,
forever,
okay.
like, you know.
No, I
It,
see what you mean.
Edward goes on to say, well, I don't know if we need to give him all the gory details. He reached across the table to lift my chin with a cold, gentle finger. But he will need some explanation for why I'm around here so much. I don't want Chief Swan getting a restraining order put on me.
Will you be? I asked, suddenly anxious. Will you really be here? That's some damn foreshadowing if I've ever seen it. Because like, why else would she
Oh.
say that? She's been so comfortable
Yeah.
this whole morning. She's been like, oh, so happy to be with him. She hasn't felt any kind of anxiety.
Yeah.
Something in her deep down, the body knows.
I mean, he left her once.
And then what he says,
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
As long as you want me, he assured me.
I'll always want you. Forever. And it's funny, she says, I'll always want you. I warned him forever. So she knows it's a damn warning. Like,
Yeah.
you're not getting rid of me, no matter what.
Oh my gosh.
Which is just so like it's so intense. That's so intense.
Yeah.
Imagine being a 17-year-old girl and saying that shit to a boy you met 3 months
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. He walked slowly around the table and, pausing a few feet away, he reached out to touch his fingertips to my cheek.
Does that make you sad? He didn't answer. He stared into my eyes for an immeasurable period of time.
Are you finished? He finally asked.
I jumped up. Yes.
Get dressed. I'll wait here.
It was hard to decide what to wear. I doubted there were any etiquette books detailing how to dress when your vampire sweetheart takes you home to meet his vampire family. It was a relief to think the word to myself. I knew I shied away from it intentionally. I ended up in my only skirt. Long, khaki-colored, still casual. I put on the dark blue blouse he'd once complimented. A quick glance in the mirror told me my hair was entirely impossible, so I pulled it back into a ponytail. Okay. Long, khaki-colored, still casual. Her only skirt, khaki-colored.
Long skirt. And then she's got a blouse on. She sounds like she's going to church. She just needs a big hat.
She just needs some low-rise jeans.
I know. Why didn't she just put jeans on? But I guess she's like trying to be
Why?
nice and like cute, you know? Like I wore a dress when I went to meet AJ's family. But I'm a dress wearing girl.
Yeah, the fact that it's also khaki-colored, I can't get over that. Stephenie Meyer wrote that down and said, yeah, that's
She
good.
sounds beautiful.
Not even like a black skirt. Like I don't know.
Right?
Anyway,
Dark blue
whatever.
shirt and
A little
long.
flow moment. I don't know. A
So
little
sad.
something.
I
Polka
do
dots.
think polka dots. I think the paragraph before, it's so funny. I doubted there were any etiquette books detailing how to dress when your vampire sweetheart takes you home to meet his vampire family. I just thought that was such a great sentence, and she's just so funny and silly and silly
Yeah.
girl.
Really
Anyway,
girl.
just got her hair in a
Right.
freaking ponytail, which I feel like we never see in the movie.
Yeah, why wear a skirt and then throw your hair up into a damn ponytail? I
She
don't
looks
know.
like she sounds like she looks like a teacher, you know, or like
Yeah. And then okay. I bounced down the stairs. I'm decent.
He was waiting at the foot of the stairs, closer than I thought, and I bounded right into him. He steadied me, holding me a careful distance away for a few seconds before suddenly pulling me closer. Wrong again, he murmured in my ear. You are utterly indecent. No one should look so tempting. It's not fair. Long khaki skirt, dark blue blouse, and a ponytail. Ladies,
Ladies, get you a man that thinks you look utterly indecent and
ow.
so tempting in a fucking khaki skirt. I'm sorry. It is so fun. But also, if you're a horny man that's 100 years old and you've never had sex, I
Yeah,
actually do think seeing the girl's ankles and like maybe a little bit of cleavage, would
like
do it for
a little
you.
bit of like chest.
Like just a little chest, like because Bella is I'm sorry, flat chested as hell because she weighs 4 pounds. And, like, I don't know what to say. Okay. And she was okay. So Bella goes, tempting how? I can change.
I can change.
Okay.
He sighed, shaking his head. You are so absurd. He pressed his cool lips delicately to my forehead, and the room spun. The smell of his breath made it impossible to think. Shall I explain how you're tempting me? Wow. It was clearly a rhetorical question. His fingers traced slowly down my spine, his breath coming more quickly against my skin. My hands were limp on my chest, and I felt lightheaded again. He tilted his head slowly and touched his cool lips to mine for a second time, very carefully, parting them slightly. And then I collapsed.
Like, I'm sorry, what? I was reading this and I was like, she what now? She collapsed.
I wrote, girl.
Girl, get a hold of yourself. That's what happens when you are so horny and you do nothing about it. You literally faint when your boyfriend runs his hand down your back.
And kisses your forehead and then your mouth. That's the deadly triple dipper.
This is killing me right now. Okay. And then I collapsed. And the way that it's written, it's so funny. It's its own fucking okay. We're not maybe Bia can clip it in.
Yeah.
But it's literally like you have this big paragraph, and then it's like its own paragraph, and then I collapsed.
Bella? His voice was alarmed, and as he caught me and held me up.
You made me faint.
She accuses him dizzily.
Dizzily.
What am I gonna do with you? That's in full italics, so he groaned in exasperation. Yesterday I kiss you and you attack me. Today you pass out on me. I laughed weakly. Letting his arm support me while my head spun.
I like to believe that she's just like dead weight in his arm.
So much for being good at everything, he sighed.
That's the problem. I was still dizzy. You're too good. Far, far too good.
Do you feel sick? He asked. He'd seen me like this before.
No, that wasn't the same kind of fainting at all. I don't know what happened. I shook my head apologetically. I think I forgot to breathe.
I can't take you anywhere like this.
I'm fine. Your family's going to think I'm insane anyway. What's the difference?
So funny. He measured my expression for a moment. I'm very partial to that color with your skin. To that color with your skin. Oh, when I read this at first, I was like, the color of her skin?
I did not understand.
But
like when she's green and sickly?
He
Is
is
that what
saying he
means?
likes the dark blue blouse. I like.
Oh, because it says he offered unexpectedly. I'm partial to
Yes.
that color with your skin. I had no idea what he meant. I thought
was
he literally
so
was like, yeah, when you
confused.
look this pale, I'm like, oh God, she's gonna throw up again. Or like she's
Yeah.
gonna get sick. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
But that makes a lot more sense.
he likes the blouse, which he had complimented before, so he just loves dark blue.
Makes sense. She says, I flushed with pleasure and looked away. Look, I'm trying really hard not to think about what I'm about to do. So can we go already?
And you're worried not because you're headed to meet a house full of vampires, but because you think those vampires won't approve of you, correct?
That's right, I answered immediately, hiding my surprise at his casual use of the word.
He shook his head. You're incredible. His line of you're scared because you're gonna meet a house full of vampires, that was basically in the movie. And I just like
Yeah.
it's so sad that this whole scene that has so much character was condensed to 2 lines of, "What's the plan? You wanna meet my family today? Ugh, I don't know. Are they gonna like me?" And he goes, "Oh, you're scared because of that." And then they go right to it. I mean, I get that there's more
I
exciting
get
things,
it,
but
but we wanted a couple bits of flirtiness if they would have given
right?
us that. Because we get that we get a couple in the movie, and I eat that shit up.
I know.
But,
We need
we
Twilight
can't
redone.
change the past. I realized as he drove my truck out of the main part of town that I had no idea where he lived. We passed over the bridge at the Kalawa River, the road winding northward, the houses flashing past us, growing farther apart, getting bigger. And then we were past the other houses altogether, driving through misty forest. I was trying to decide whether to ask or be patient when he turned abruptly onto an unpaved road. It was unmarked, barely visible among the ferns. The forest encroached on both sides, leaving the road ahead only discernible for a few meters as it twisted, serpent-like, around the ancient trees. So they're going deep as fuck into the forest. Any normal person would be like a little scared. Like a little scared? I would be scared because, I mean, even if she gets into the car to escape if these people attack her, she doesn't know how to get the fuck out of this forest.
Yeah.
So
He just
she
turned onto an
mentions
unpaved road, so she's just like, "Well,
sh-
now I have no
and
idea where
sh
the main road is."
I don't think she mentions anything about being nervous in this entire like next section.
And then,
And
after a few miles, there was some thinning of the woods, and we were suddenly in a small meadow, or was it actually a lawn? The gloom of the forest didn't relent, though, for there were 6 primordial cedars that shaded an entire acre with their vast sweep of branches. The trees held their protecting shadow right up to the walls of the house that rose among them, making obsolete the deep porch that wrapped around the first story.
big ass trees.
Yeah. Primordial cedars. Are they like, what was that like?
Primordial means like from a long time ago, I think, right?
Oh. Yeah, that's a big fucking tree. They just have like, it's like, it looks like 10 trees put together.
Holy shit.
You looked up primordial.
I did. That's crazy.
Right? That's nuts. Now we get
Um,
a description that absolutely blew my mind.
oh yeah. Okay, so I don't know what I had expected, but it definitely wasn't this. The house was timeless, graceful, and probably 100 years old. It was painted a soft, faded white, 3 stories tall, rectangular, and well proportioned. The windows and doors were either part of the original structure or a perfect restoration. My truck was the only car in sight. I could hear the river close by, hidden in the obscurity of the forest. Wow.
You like it?
So very different,
Very
I would say,
different.
because the house in the movie is modern as fuck.
Super modern. The windows and doors were not, very much not a part of the original structure. It is
They
also
were,
not white.
no.
And it's not a timeless house. It is incredibly modern. And now this is the time where my uh, Lego masterpiece comes to play.
Oh
I'm
my
not done with it.
God, yes!
I
Are
have
you
turned it over
completely
to
done with
pieces.
it?
I'm not fully done. I'm about to be done with the second floor.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Let me see if I can.
But yeah, I was shocked at how different it was. It's crazy.
So you can see here, the house is very much brown. I know that this is like a different color than what it was in the movie, but it's brown and gray. And there's
Yeah.
so many glass doors and
And
windows.
they talk about the big windows in on the next page. So it does seem like they did have big windows, but very different.
Very
Very
different.
different from what we were anticipating.
Yes. So different. And you would think that, I just feel like the house is such an iconic part of it that I don't know if it's because of what it looks like in the movie or because it's just important right away. Like, if it had been a different house, would it be as iconic to us? I don't know. It just.
I don't know. And like in the movie, the house has like a driveway. And like, I don't
Exactly.
know. I feel like a big part of this right here is that Bella's truck was the only truck in sight. So clearly they don't have
Yes.
cars. My question is because Carlisle does Like, where are they? Do they keep their cars like at the outskirts of the woods and they just run there in the morning? Like,
I
that's my
was
question because
confused
they
about
do
that
have
too. They do
cars.
have cars because Rosalie has the red
Yeah.
M or something.
Maybe they have like a garage or something, but yeah, I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah, and no garage mentioned here. There's a very big garage on the house. I'll do a tour of my Twilight house once it
Oh
is
my
fully completed,
God.
because it even has like a little kitchen. The
Yes.
kitchen has a sink. It's like it's intricate. I'm so
That's
excited.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So,
wow.
you like it? He smiled.
It has a certain charm.
He pulled the end of my ponytail and chuckled. What does
Yaga.
this mean?
That's the only thing I could think of. Why is he pulling her ponytail? It took me back to freshman year of high school.
Oh my god.
Like
Stop, that's
maybe a
so
playful
funny.
little, like a playful little
Like
like,
a little.
but that was so weird.
Ready? He asked, opening my door.
Not even a little bit. Let's go. I tried to laugh, but it seemed to get stuck in my throat. I smoothed my hair nervously.
Oh, you look lovely. He took my hand easily, without thinking about it. Oh. We walked through the deep shade up to the porch. I knew he could feel my tension. His thumb rubbed soothing circles into the back of my hand. He opened the door for me.
The inside was even more surprising, less predictable than the exterior. It was very bright, very open, and very large. This must have originally been several rooms, but the walls have been removed for most of the first floor to create one wide space. The back, south-facing wall had been entirely replaced with glass, and beyond the shade of the cedars, the lawn stretched bare to the wide river. A massive curving staircase dominated the west side of the room. The walls, the high beam ceiling, the wooden floors, and the thick carpets were all varying shades of white.
And when I hear this description, it makes me think a little more about the inside of the house. There are really high ceilings.
Yes, there's the big windows that look out into the
Exactly.
forest.
I don't know about
Um,
one big wide space
Yeah, I feel like in the movie
or
they
long.
have like it is one space. There's not like walls separating everything, but there is a lot of like columns and
Yes,
stuff
exactly.
that like
Like
breaks
no
up the it's not
doors.
one big room,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
one big
yeah.
space maybe. And I also am confused, well not confused, but it's interesting that it says they're all varying shades of white because I feel like we get a decent amount of color and like wood and
Now I'm curious. I'm just
maybe I'm wrong there, but like I feel like it is not all white. That feels so sterile.
It doesn't even seem like they have like rugs. Edward has white floors though.
Interesting. I don't know. It's just it's not what I'm used to for this house, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it has so much wood in it, but I guess you're right. Edward's room is pretty white. Well,
Hmm.
anyway, very interesting. Not what I
Interesting.
pictured, but
Yeah. Waiting to greet us, standing just to the left of the door, on a raised portion of the floor by a spectacular grand piano, were Edward's parents. I'd seen Dr. Cullen before, of course, yet I couldn't help but be struck again by his youth, his outrageous perfection. At his side was Esme, I assumed, the only one of the family I'd never seen before. She had the same pale, beautiful features as the rest of them. Something about her heart shaped face, her billows of soft, caramel colored hair, reminded me of the ingenues in the silent movie era. She was small, slender, yet less angular, more rounded than the others. They were both dressed casually, in light colors that matched the inside of the house. They smiled in welcome, but made no move to approach us, trying not to frighten me, I guessed. Carlyle? Esme? Edward's voice broke the short silence. This is Bella.
you're very welcome, Bella. Carlyle's step was measured, careful as he approached me. He raised his hand tentatively, and I stepped forward to shake hands with him. Why the fuck did he say you're very welcome? Like I know what he means. You know, we're very glad to have you here.
Yes.
Where you're very welcome to be here, Bella. Like I know what he means, but it sounds so weird. Okay.
It
So weird. So Bella goes, "It's nice to see you again, Dr. Cullen. Please call me Carlisle." Carlisle. I grinned at him, my sudden confidence surprising me. I could feel Edward's relief at my side.
Esme smiled and stepped forward as well, reaching for my hand. Her cold stone grasp was just as I expected. And she's weird too. She says, "It's very nice to know you." Hmm?
We have to remember that they are from different times.
Yes. Yes.
But like get with the program, y'all.
Like, Edward is really hip. Like, Carlisle currently works at the hospital. Like, he should. Like,
You're very welcome, Bella.
you're very welcome, Bella.
Thank you. I'm glad to meet you too. And I was. It was like meeting a fairy tale, Snow White in the flesh.
Why did she say meeting a fairy tale and not meeting a princess? It was like meeting a fairy tale. Girl. Okay.
So stupid.
Where are Alice and Jasper? Edward asked, but no one answered, as they just appeared at the top of the wide staircase. Now, I like that
Creepy
in the
as
movie.
fuck.
It is fun.
But yeah.
They're just, I imagine them, they're the Shining twins just at the top of the staircase. But yeah, in the movie, very cool that they come in through a freaking tree in the window or something.
Yeah.
Insane. Really cool. Hey, Edward!
She ran down the stairs. No, I think that's good. She ran down the stairs, a streak of black hair and white skin, coming to a sudden and graceful stop in front of me. Carlisle and Esme shot warning glances at her, but I liked it. It was natural. For her, anyway.
Hi, Bella, Alice said, and she bounced forward to kiss my cheek. If Carlisle and Esme had looked cautious before, they now looked staggered. There was shock in my eyes, too, but I was also very pleased that she seemed to approve of me so entirely. I was startled to feel Edward stiffen at my side. I glanced at his face, but his expression was unreadable. You do smell nice. I never noticed before, she commented to my extreme embarrassment.
No one else seemed to know quite what to say, and then Jasper was there, tall and leonine. A feeling of ease spread through me, and I was suddenly comfortable despite where I was. Edward stared at Jasper, raising one eyebrow, and I remembered what Jasper could do.
I like the description of Leonine, because he does look like a lion in the movie.
Yeah.
Hello, Bella, Jasper said. He kept his distance, not offering to shake my hand, but it was impossible to feel awkward near him.
Hello, Jasper. I smiled at him shyly, and then at the others. It's nice to meet you all. You have a very beautiful home, I added conventionally. Okay, one thing I'm a little confused about, and I know maybe this is like skipping ahead, but Bella is technically supposed to be like immune to all of their gifts. Why does Jasper have any effect on her? Is that just like in her head a little bit? Like it's like placebo?
Isn't there a scene in New Moon where she's at the school and she's like, "Really, Jasper? The mood thing?"
Please. It'll be fun.
Okay. All right.
Great. Okay, I'll see you at 7.
No fair with the mood control thing.
Yes, probably. I don't remember.
Because
I don't know. Maybe they'll get into that more because I was very confused. I was like, why is he having any effect on her if she's supposedly like, because that's what Edward is being so shady about in the rest of this chapter about like Alice and like not telling her this thing
Yeah.
about Alice. I assume it's that Alice can't see her. She can like sense a hole in the dreams or whatever, the visions, but I don't know.
Okay, so I looked it up just like because I like it was gonna drive me crazy, and in r/Twilight 6 years ago, um, they say that her shield is a mind shield, and Edward's powers are reading the mind, and Jane's powers are like causing pain through the mind. But now that I say it out loud, it's like that
Through the
doesn't make any
brain,
sense
I
because
guess.
like Jasper is making like the whole room and it's not like targeted towards her, but that doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any
'Cause
fucking
that
sense.
doesn't make sense because it's Stephenie Meyer. It doesn't make sense. Like I would think pain receptors are in the brain or something. Like the
Mm-hmm.
pain. I don't know, guys. I'm not a fucking scientist. Anything I say is probably wrong. But like that's my guess that like the brain or Jasper has an effect on everyone else in the room, and that wears off on Bella just because she's a human.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I
then
mean? Like
why
I feel like if
can
everyone in the room is calm, that kind of can wear off on her.
yeah,
I don't know, loose. It doesn't it just is convenient for Stephenie to
I know,
say
right?
feels a little bit whatever.
Fucked.
But yeah, that's confusing. Okay, so
Really good
Esme
point.
says, "Thank you. We're so glad that you came." She spoke with feeling, and I realized that she thought I was brave. I also realized that Rosalie and Emmett were nowhere to be seen, and I remembered Edward's too innocent denial when I asked him if the others didn't like me.
Carlyle's expression distracted me from this train of thought. He was gazing meaningfully at Edward with an intense expression. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Edward nod once.
I looked away, trying to be polite. My eyes wandered again to the beautiful instrument on the platform by the door. I suddenly remembered my childhood fantasy that, should I ever win a lottery, I would buy a grand piano for my mother. She wasn't really good. She only played for herself on our second-hand upright, but I loved to watch her play. She was happy, absorbed. She seemed like a new, mysterious being to me then, someone outside the mom persona I took for granted. She'd put me through lessons, of course, but like most kids, I whined until she let me quit. Esme noticed my preoccupation.
Do you play? She asked, inclining her head toward the piano.
I shook my head. Not at all, but it's so beautiful. Is it yours?
No. Edward didn't tell you he was musical?
No. I glared at his suddenly innocent expression with narrowed eyes. I should have known, I guess.
Esme raised her delicate eyebrows in confusion.
Edward can do everything, right?
Jasper snickered, and Esme gave Edward a reproving look. I hope you haven't been showing off. It's rude, she scolded. Just a bit. He laughed freely. Her face softened at the sound, and they shared a brief look that I didn't understand, though Esme's face seemed almost smug.
He's been too modest, actually, I corrected.
Well, play for her. You just said showing off was rude. There are exceptions to every rule, she replied.
I'd like to hear you play.
It's settled then. Esme pushed him towards the piano. He pulled me along, sliding me on the bench beside him. He gave me a long, exasperated look before he turned to the keys.
And then his fingers flowed swiftly across the ivory, and the room was filled with a composition so complex, so luxuriant, it was impossible to believe only one set of hands played. I felt my chin drop, my mouth open in astonishment, and heard low chuckles behind me at my reaction. Edward looked at me casually, the music still surging around us without a break, and winked.
You like it?
You wrote this? I gasped, understanding.
It's Esme's favorite.
I closed my eyes, shaking my head.
What's wrong?
I'm feeling extremely insignificant. The music slowed, transforming into something softer, and to my surprise, I detected the melody of his lullaby weaving through the profusion of notes.
Bow, 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 bow.
Okay, one thing I want to say before we get into Bella's lullaby is so Bella says, I'm feeling extremely insignificant. And I think she does a lot of, as we know, comparing herself to Edward, which I don't know. I guess I don't have that much to say about it. I think it's more just that, like, it's a sad thing that she doesn't know at the beginning of this book, it seems like she's just floating through life. She doesn't have much of like a concrete identity. And it feels like she attaches herself to Edward and then just constantly compares herself to him. And like there's no way that you can compare yourself to a man that's been on this earth for 100 years
And
because
has
he's
supernatural
had time to
powers.
become a genius at the piano and has
Yeah.
read more books than you can even think of reading,
He
you
doesn't
know, and
sleep.
he doesn't sleep. He literally doesn't sleep. He has like a magic brain that can read people's minds. Like there's just no way to compare yourself to him. And I don't know. I think it just has a lot to do with like when he does leave, her whole identity was him.
Yeah.
Like when he leaves, she can't fucking handle it. She sits in her room for 5 months straight or whatever the fuck. So I don't know. I feel like that line is not acknowledged by anyone in this little passage here. And I don't know, it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. And it weirdly reminds me of my mom told me she goes to the fancy gym, Equinox gym, and
Oh.
yeah, she she goes to a fancy gym. And I guess they've been putting out ads or something, or like sending out emails of like these really hot people, all like super jacked and like, they look awesome. And it's all, don't believe anything you see. This is AI generated. Don't believe anything you see.
Smart.
It just, for some reason, that just like reminded me of it, and it's just like you're
Yeah,
comparing yourself to something that is not
it's
real.
impossible.
It's
impossible.
completely impossible. Like you are a human. So
And like even if she does, when she does become a vampire, it doesn't erase that he's still been alive 100 years longer than her.
right?
There's
Like
just no way to compare. So
yeah.
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 Okay. So he goes, you inspired this one. Bella says, I couldn't speak.
Oh, this actually, remember that pin that I put in earlier
Oh,
about
yes.
a scene in the book or in the movie that is sort of out of place. So there is a scene where they're sort of just like floating around, or like the camera's going around them and he's playing the melody, and there is no real like context to it. It's just sort of like, oh, this is Bella's lullaby, and it's just like a pretty scene.
Yeah.
This could have been so amazing to get, I don't know, of just like them arriving at the house and they just sit at this piano instead of having this like weird like cooking, and then like Rosalie's not there, like Rosalie is there but she's mad. Instead she could just not be there, and like this,
I
I don't know, it's not as exciting because she's not crushing a bowl of salad, but it would have made that scene that they kept in the movie make sense.
It's more, yeah, I agree.
So now, he's playing the lullaby, bow, 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 bow. And he says, you inspired this one. He says softly, the music grew unbearably sweet.
I couldn't speak.
They like you, he said conversationally. Esme especially.
Oh, sorry, I glanced behind me, but the huge room was empty now. Where did they go?
Very subtly giving us some privacy, I suppose.
They like me, but Rosalie and Emmett, I trailed off, not sure how to express my doubts.
He frowned. Don't worry about Rosalie. His eyes were wide and persuasive. She'll come around.
I pursed my lips skeptically. Emmett?
Well, he thinks I'm a lunatic. It's true, but he doesn't have a problem with you. He's trying to reason with Rosalie.
What is it that upsets her? I wasn't sure if I wanted to know the answer.
He sighed deeply. Rosalie struggles the most with what we are. It's hard for her to have someone on the outside know the truth, and she's a little jealous.
Rosalie is jealous of me? I asked incredulously. I tried to imagine a universe in which someone as breathtaking as Rosalie would have any possible reason to feel jealous of someone like me.
You're human, he shrugged. She wishes that she were too.
Oh, I muttered, still stunned. Even Jasper, though?
That's really my fault. I told you he was the most recent to try our way of life. I warned him to keep his distance.
I thought about the reason for that and shuddered. Finally, she's scared of
I
something.
know.
Esme and Carlisle? I continued quickly to keep him from noticing.
Are happy to see me happy. Actually, Esme wouldn't care if you had a third eye or webbed feet. All this time, she's been worried about me, afraid that there was something missing from my essential makeup, that I was too young when Carlisle changed me. She's ecstatic. Every time I touch you, she just about chokes with satisfaction. What do you
A weird
mean?
fucking
What do you?
line.
I know.
A
I'm like,
weird
what do
fucking
you
line.
like?
You could have put that a little bit differently.
Like Is he telling her? Like, are they? I mean, like, I guess there's no secrets in the family, right? But it's just like, is he like going home and being like, I kissed her today? Yep. And we talked about having sex also.
Maybe just more like in this moment, whenever he's like putting his arm on her back.
Mm.
We're taking it in the bad
Oh.
way, probably.
Probably of just, them walking in holding hands. Her
I think it's
mind
more
is
that
probably
she's
just
just
like,
like,
ah! Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Alice seems very enthusiastic.
Alice has her own way of looking at things, he said through tight lips.
And you're not going to explain that, are you?
A moment of wordless communication passed between us. He realized that I knew he was keeping something from me.
Does she know that Alice can read mind, or that Alice can see the future yet?
She
she does.
knows.
Okay.
Remember, because he said
Last
that like we can't. Last chapter and this chapter, he was like, "There's no keeping secrets because Alice can see the future."
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But he doesn't know that like Alice has seen her as a vampire. We know that because we've watched the movies,
Yeah.
but it's
But Bella can't know that yet. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I realized that he wasn't going to give anything away. Not now.
So what was Carlisle telling you before?
His eyebrows pulled together. You noticed that, did you?
Of course.
He looked at me thoughtfully for a few seconds before answering. He wanted to tell me some news. He didn't know if it was something I could share with you.
Will you?
I have to, because I'm going to be a little overbearingly protective over the next few days or weeks, and I wouldn't want you to think I'm naturally a tyrant.
What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong, exactly. Alice just sees some visitors coming soon. They know we're here, and they're curious.
Visitors?
Yes. Well, they aren't like us, of course, in their hunting habits. I mean, they probably won't come into town at all, but I'm certainly not going to let you out of my sight until they're gone.
I shivered.
Finally, a rational response. Oh, wait, he murmured that. He was really chill about it, actually. Finally,
A national response.
a national response. I was beginning to think you had no sense of preservation at all.
I let that one pass, looking away, my eyes wandering again around the spacious room. He followed my gaze.
Not what you expected, is it?
No.
I'll pause right here and say I'm starting to understand. I hope that those who listen to this podcast are not like, oh my God, they're never going to give up the fact that the book is not like the movie. Because I don't think I ever will give up the fact that the book is not like the movie.
Sorry.
Because I just like, in the movie, we don't realize that the vampires are coming. Alice has seen these guys. She's getting a warning. Like,
And Bella knows too.
Exactly.
That would have been so helpful because I feel like in the baseball scene in the movie, it feels like all of a sudden, like obviously in the movie we get the like people are being killed throughout, so like we're aware, but like I don't know, the fact that Bella knew that there were vampires coming to town would have been really helpful context for why they were all so immediately scared when they walked up.
Yeah.
Like when these people walked up. Because like, I don't know, the vibe immediately switched. Bella even knew that she needed to like get the fuck out of there. Like, I don't know, it just, yeah, it would have been really helpful.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see if like, dude, does the baseball scene, I hope the baseball scene it happens in the book, right? It must.
Yeah.
Imagine. Okay. It's just like,
yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, why would they even, if they know that there are vampires, like human eating vampires out there, why would they even bother with going, playing baseball?
Yeah, they would.
Okay. They have, you're like,
I just saw the line that says, vampires like baseball?
perfect.
Okay, so yeah, Bella's finally trying to have some self-preservation tactics, and it's great.
And now they're back to talking about the house, and he goes, no coffins, no piled skulls in the corner. I don't even think we have cobwebs. What a disappointment this must be for you. he continued slyly.
I ignored his teasing. It's so light, so open.
He was more serious when he answered. It's the one place we never have to hide.
The song he was still playing, my song, drifted to an end, the final chords shifting to a more melancholy key. The last note hovered poignantly in the silence. Thank you, I murmured. I realized there were tears in my eyes. I dabbed at them, embarrassed. He touched the corner of my eye, trapping one I missed. He lifted his finger, examining the drop of moisture broodingly. Then, so quickly I couldn't be positive that he really did, he put his finger to his mouth to taste it. I looked at him questioningly, and he gazed back for a long moment before he finally smiled.
Do you want to see the rest of the house?
No coffins? I verified, the sarcasm in my voice not entirely masking the slight but genuine anxiety I felt.
He laughed, taking my hand, leading me away from the piano. No coffins, he promised. We walked up the massive staircase, my hand trailing along the satin-smooth rail. The long hall at the top of the stairs was paneled with honey-colored wood, the same as the floorboards. Rosalie and Emmett's room, Carlisle's office, Alice's room. He gestured as he led me past the doors. He would have continued, but I stopped dead at the end of the hall, staring incredulously at the ornament hanging on the wall above my head. Edward chuckled at my bewildered expression.
I thought this was going to be the wall of graduation caps.
Me too.
Instead,
Me
very
too,
different.
Katie. Yeah, me too.
Very different.
Edward says, you can laugh. It is sort of ironic.
I didn't laugh. My hand raised automatically, one finger extended as if to touch the large wooden cross, its dark patina contrasting with the lighter tone of the wall. I didn't touch it, though I was curious if the aged wood would feel silky as it looked, or would feel as silky as it looked.
Mormon
must be
alert.
very
Sorry.
old. Mormon alert, Mormon alert. It must be very old, I guessed.
Early 1630s, more or less.
I looked away from the cross to stare at him. Why do you keep this here?
Nostalgia. It belonged to Carlisle's father.
He collected antiques? I suggested doubtfully. She's like, he's not actually that fucking old, is he?
No, he carved this himself. It hung on the wall above the pulpit in the vicarage, where he preached.
I wasn't sure if my face betrayed my shock, but I returned to gazing at the simple ancient cross just in case. I quickly did the mental math. The cross was over 370 years old. The silence stretched on as I struggled to wrap my mind around the concept of so many years.
Are you all right? He sounded worried.
How old is Carlisle? I asked quietly, ignoring his question, still staring up.
He just celebrated his 362nd birthday. Dude.
Okay.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I looked back at him, a million questions in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Watched me carefully as he spoke.
Carlyle was born in London in the 1640s, he believes. Time wasn't marked as accurately then, for the common people anyway. It was just before Cromwell's rule, though. What is Cromwell's rule?
Oliver Cromwell took over in around that time in like the 1600s, and I'm pretty sure he was the one that like took away, like he tried to take away like Christmas and stuff.
Whoa.
There's probably something more significant about him, though. I'm sorry, I'm pulling on my fucking AP Euro knowledge from a long time ago, from like over 10 years ago. Yeah, he came to prominence during the War of the Three Kingdoms, and what did he do? He's best known for... Yeah, he was a strict Puritan. He established a military dictatorship known as the Commonwealth, and is divisive. Yeah, he executed Charles I. I don't know, he was just a Puritan.
And I guess Cromwell's rule was named by a statistician. So he like set like there are statements that are logically true or false, you know, like math. And I guess that makes sense in the context of time being marked and all that. So like he's like, okay, this is 8 a.m. Okay, everyone, this is how we're gonna follow it.
The
And
standard.
yeah, man, that's crazy that he was also just like trying to just killing people. That man, maybe 2 + 2 doesn't equals 4.
I kept my face composed, aware of his scrutiny as I listened. It was easier if I didn't try to believe.
He was the only son of an Anglican pastor. His mother died giving birth to him. His father was an intolerant man. As the Protestants came into power, he was enthusiastic in his persecution of Roman Catholics and other religions. He also believed very strongly in the reality of evil. He led hunts for witches, werewolves, and vampires.
I grew very still at the word. I'm sure he noticed, but he went on without pausing.
They burned a lot of innocent people. Of course, the real creatures that he sought were not so easy to catch. When the pastor grew old, he placed his obedient son in charge of the raids. At first, Carlisle was a disappointment. He was not quick to accuse, to see demons where they did not exist, but he was persistent and more clever than his father. He actually discovered a coven of true vampires that lived hidden in the sewers of the city, only coming out by night to hunt. In those days, when monsters were not just myths and legends, that was the way many lived. The people gathered their pitchforks and torches, of course. His brief laugh grew darker now, and waited where Carlisle had seen the monsters exit into the street. Eventually, one emerged. He must have been ancient and weak with hunger. Carlisle heard him call out in Latin to the others when he caught the scent of the mob. He ran through the streets, and Carlisle, he was 23 and very fast, was in the lead of the pursuit. The creature could have easily outrun them, but Carlisle thinks he was too hungry, so he turned and attacked. He fell on Carlisle first, but the others were close behind, and he turned to defend himself. He killed 2 men and made off with a third, leaving Carlisle bleeding in the street.
He paused. I could sense he was editing something, keeping something from me.
What do you think? I don't know. I guess just the gory details.
I think it could be the transformation and how painful it is, because I would think that the
Oh.
next bit of this is, I mean, he kind of gets into it about how he like whatever, but like I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, maybe there's like other stuff that we have no idea what it could possibly be. But that was kind of my inclination that like maybe he's leaving out the gory details of the transformation and but I don't know. I don't know.
Weird. Now I'm curious. Well,
I know.
Edward continues in this long. Carlisle knew what his father would do. The bodies would be burned. Anything infected by the monster must be destroyed. Carlisle acted instinctively to save his own life. He crawled away from the alley while the mob followed the fiend and his victim. He hid in a cellar, buried himself in rotting potatoes for 3 days. It's a miracle he was able to keep silent, to stay undiscovered. It was over then, and he realized what he had become.
I'm not sure what my face was revealing, but he suddenly broke off.
How are you feeling?
I'm fine, I assured him, and though I bit my lip in hesitation, he must have seen the curiosity burning in my eyes.
I expect you have a few more questions for me.
A few.
His smile widened over his brilliant teeth. He started back down the hall, pulling me along by the hand. Come on then. I'll show you. Ah! And that is the end. That is the end of chapter 15, The Cullens.
And guys, the next chapter is called Carlisle. So we're gonna get we're hopefully seemingly gonna get more details. Maybe from the man
I'm so
himself.
excited. I know. Oh my gosh. I'm really excited to hear more because I feel like we don't get any of this. I had no idea Carlisle was so damn old.
This is a good chapter. I feel like not too much happened, honestly, but we learned a lot.
Yes.
And that last like monologue I feel like that Edward had
Yes.
is very good.
Yeah. It was a really I don't know, she does a fantastic job of making you want to read the next chapter. You know, you finish right up and then you're just like, "Damn, I got to know what happens."
Yeah, no, I
Um
agree.
well, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I balance a lot of complicated feelings about this relationship. I'm very happy and excited for them because it's young love and they're so in love with each other. And it's
Oh,
so cute, a
yeah.
little cringy, a little corny sometimes, but I really love and appreciate the like young love aspect of it.
Yes.
However, I worry about their like codependency and how
Mhm.
we know that will affect her going forward. And just
Mhm.
like some like that one line of her being like, I feel so insignificant or like whatever. So I think I love it and I hate it, but I love learning more about his family and like diving more into the story. And I'm very excited to get to the climax of the book. I'm
I know.
itching. I'm
I
itching to get
know.
there. So,
Yeah.
what are your final thoughts?
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, I mean, besides you're balancing on the edge of the relationship, I'm balancing on the edge of the book and the movie and trying to just oh my god. But I know that I talked about that a lot, the chapter, but I just honestly I am really looking forward to meeting Rosalie and Emmett because we have yet to talk to them, and I don't like I would be so shocked if they didn't talk at all during the rest of the book, but
No, they
I'm
definitely
sure they
will.
will. So I'm just excited to see that
I
reaction.
I feel like we might get a mix because you know how we see Rosalie in the movie have like the bowl moment of
Yeah.
anger and frustration. I feel like maybe potentially that's a mix of a later scene. I don't know if it is, but I wouldn't be
Fingers
shocked if there's
crossed.
another scene where they come to the house and like maybe they meet Rosalie and Emmett and they
Yeah.
kind of like combine the two
Yeah.
for the movie. We'll see. I have
I
no
could see
idea,
that.
but that's kind of what I'm anticipating is them having some kind of meeting. Maybe not in the house, but
I
something
I
before the
think
baseball scene.
yeah. Oh, ooh, yeah. Well, that is really what I'm looking forward to, and I can't wait for the next chapter, learn a little more
Me
about
too.
Carlisle. Well, just as a reminder, I'm Bia,
I'm Katie.
and this has been
Twilight
Twilight
tonight.
Tonight. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow. Check out my Edward coaster.